Hello. This is the hardest video I've ever had to make. Because today we're going to be doing my top 30 films of the year. Controversial, apparently. My choices are controversial. I actually think they're not, but I thought I'd do it as a video because who knows, maybe I'm in the wrong about most of these. There are certainly films on here that weren't as well received as I would have liked, but I still enjoyed. So, for example, I really enjoyed Imaginary, the spooky movie with the bear in the poster, but everyone else seemed to hate that one. Night Swim, that was definitely a silly one. That was very silly. But I found Imaginary genuinely really fun. I really enjoyed that movie. It's not on my top 30 of the year, but there it is. So that's what we're doing today. And this lighting is going to become a lot less creepy in 3, 2, 1. So I'm not going to do full reviews for all of these movies. I'm kind of just going to give a very brief coverage of what I thought, especially for the bottom half of the list. So my number 30 pick is Kneecap. Kneecap was a great movie, really, really fun. I don't think I've seen a more high energy movie like this in a very long time. So maybe it should be higher on the list. But the list will change anyway. This is just a video of the current list. Kneecap's number 30. I really enjoyed it. I liked how it integrated Irish, native Irish speech into it. I liked all the musical moments. I thought them performing their songs really added a lot. In terms of musical biopics, it wasn't my favorite of the year, but we'll get to that one. And then number 29, we got Baby Reindeer. Baby Reindeer is a TV show, but it has to be on a best of list. It's low because it's a TV show, but it is one of the best things that came out this year. That being said, I would never watch it again, and it did almost put me off doing stand-up comedy. Almost as much as bombing as stand-up comedy did. I very much enjoyed Abigail. That's number 28 on my list. It's quite low, but I still really had a good time with it. It was a very unique take on vampires. And Melissa Barrera. If, the Imaginary Friend film directed by John Krasinski. I loved this movie. I cried the whole time. Fucking loved it. Everyone else on Earth seems to have hated this movie. The amount of critics and people who have just ripped it apart, the amount of videos I've seen of critics just ripping this film to shreds. And I thought it was a really cute family film. It was just a nice movie with a good message and a big heart and colourful characters. And I just don't understand all the hate behind it. And I could rant about this for 3 hours, which I'm now going to do. So basically, this film really excelled for me. It put Ryan Reynolds in a new kind of role that I've never seen him do before. He was quite not Ryan Reynoldsy here. All the voice cast were great. The lead girl was great. The storyline was interesting. And I didn't see the ending coming. And I was really mad at myself because I definitely should have seen the ending coming. But no, I loved it. Everyone else hates this movie. It's Hereditary all over again. When I saw Hereditary, I thought this is the best horror film I've ever seen in my life. And then everyone I spoke to were like, oh, it was boring and not scary. And I was like, did we watch the same film? Because if it's really good, and John Krasinski should continue making movies and not be sad about how this was received, because I personally loved it. So John, if you're watching this, as I know you are, please make more movies. I think it would be really funny if My Old Ass was nominated for an Oscar because of obvious reasons. They get to say, I know My Old Ass for Best Picture. I think that'd be really funny. This was a really cute movie. Really sweet. Just a really nice film. Aubrey Plaza. Yeah. Great film. Recommended. Too short though. When it ended, I was like, oh, it's over. I could have watched another hour of that. Which I find me saying a lot in this. A lot of my favourite films of the year I wish had been longer than they were, just because I enjoyed them so much. My Old Ass was a good example of that. Just a really entertaining, fun romp with Aubrey Plaza. Inside Out 2 at number 25. Inside Out 2 was great. I, again, cried a lot. Beautiful film. One of the most accurate depictions of what anxiety feels like I've ever seen. Probably that I've ever seen, like ever. Like that is like the peak of how to represent that. But Inside Out 2 was lovely, and I want to watch a third one, but they can't make a third one because it would be like an 18, and we can't. Pixar can't do that. At number 24, we have The First Omen. This feels like it should be higher on the list, but when I look at my list, there are so many other films above it, and I'm like, no, I don't know where else to put it. So The First Omen's at number 24. In terms of horror movie prequels, this is probably one of the better ones out there. There's some genuinely scary body horror here, especially towards the third act. Just a very bleak, scary movie. And this director clearly knows what they're doing, and I can't wait to see more from them. And the lead actress, what a role. Like, what a role. I'd dream for a part like that, but I just don't have the flexibility. At number 23, we have Trap, M. Night Shyamalan's latest film. This movie was so funny. Like, you can tell M. Night Shyamalan was really having fun with this script. It has so many silly moments, but I feel like Shyamalan's dialogue and performances have often been criticized because of the way he chooses to direct dialogue at scenes, and it's always quite strange and awkward and stuff the way people perform in his movies, but in this one it works perfectly. I know everyone said that, but like the serial killer main character, he acts strange. He acts like he's hiding something because he is, and it works in this movie. I loved it. Really, really fun. I even liked the ending. Everyone said the M. Night Shyamalan's daughter was terrible in it. I don't think she was that bad. The world is so harsh. She was great. I enjoyed it. I had a good time with this, and I would watch it again on Halloween for a good laugh. It's not scary at all, but it definitely has some humorous moments, some insane moments. It's a very Shyamalan film, but probably one of his best, if I'm going to be honest. And I'm a huge fan. I love all of his movies. I think The Happening, I watched that the first time, and that's the first film of his I watched, and I loved that. Kinds of Kindness, Yorgos Lanthimos' next newest film. To follow up from Poor Things with this, extremely impressive, because this is a deeply disturbing, intricate, captivating, horrible, horrible film. 3 stories, each one is just as compelling and horrific as the last one. Just really, really well made. And it's so awkwardly funny as well in a really surprising way. I think this is on Disney Plus with Poor Things. So if you're gonna do a double bill, I'd recommend it. Just be warned. If you thought Poor Things was like horrifying, this is a whole other thing. Terrifier 3. I feel like I could make a whole video on this one movie. I probably will at some point. Although whenever I say that in a video, I never do. Terrifier 3. Why is it doing that? Why does it always like strobe? It's fine, I'll sit like this. It doesn't look like it does it when I sit like this. So Terrifier 3. As a film, I loved it. I mean, it's grotesque. If you're at all squeamish, you will struggle, as I did. But it is just as horrific and entertaining as the first two. It's kind of the perfect length. Like, I know people said the second one was a bit too long. This one feels like exactly as it should be. It was also genuinely quite scary, which surprised me. Like, especially the opening. I was like, oh my god, this Terrifier 3 is actually scary. It was great. Also, there were like 4 people sat next to me and they were chatting the whole time. And it's the first time I've ever turned to people and said, can you please stop talking? Because I was just so entertained and engrossed by this movie. And I can't wait for Terrifier 4. I will be there opening night. I saw the TV Glow as an interesting one because I hated it leaving the cinema. I left the cinema and I thought, what on earth? I was so like unaffected and disappointed. But then I got home and I just broke down in tears, and I was like, my entire perspective on the film changed. This is a movie that sneaks up on you and it frustrates you because the ending is not what you'd expect, and it's such a tender, like complex look at life and not really feeling comfortable in your own skin and wanting to be someone else. It's an incredible movie. And after sitting on it, it is one of my favorites of the year. That's why it's on the list. But yeah, first time I watched it, after I saw it, I was like, what was that? And then it hit me properly, and it one of the most effective films of the year. And it's only number 20, so some big ones are about to come up. Challenges is my number 19 film. Obviously, it's on this list. This is probably one of the most entertaining sports movies I've ever seen. Like, all of us were tense in the cinema for the entire thing, especially the third act. Like, it's so effective. If you haven't seen Challenges, what are you doing? Next, we got Conclave at number 18. I really enjoyed this film. I thought it was very intense and quiet. A lot of heavy breathing and dialogue. I wish the ending had been a bit snappier, though. I think the ending was a bit too nice. Like, I feel like with a film like this, I understand it's based on a book, and the book probably ends the same way. It might not. Please correct me if I'm wrong. But, like, I don't know. I was expecting more of a gut punch of an ending, but I was just like, oh, okay. That's the ending. It was still good. I loved it. Very intense, very fun film. But not as fun as Wallace and Gromit Vengeance Most Foul, which is my number 17 film. Yeah, I mean, I watched it Christmas Day with the family. And if I was a kid, those garden gnomes would have given me nightmares. And they did give me nightmares. And I know it was stop motion, but this one felt different. It felt less handmade, weirdly. I don't know how else to explain it, but there was something about it. Oddity. Watch it, please. Number 16. Oddity. Great film. Extremely scary. Love Lies Bleeding. I forgot about this film, which is very strange because it was one of the best films I saw when I watched it of the year. It is only number 15 now, but like at the time of watching it, the only downfall was the cinema itself because the projector was broken or something, so I didn't fully get to enjoy the visuals as they were intended. I guess it's slower on the list because I didn't love the ending. I kind of didn't like the ending. But aside from that, both lead performances are great. The romantic story, the action, it's all just wonderful. Very much recommend this one. Go and watch it, please. Thelma. Now, when I saw Thelma, I thought, that's my favourite film of the year. No other film is going to top that. It still is one of my favourite films of the year. It's number 14 on the list. This is one of the most entertaining movies of the year still. Like, I loved it. It's so funny. So funny. Just a genius premise. Basically, Thelma gets a call from a scammer who steals like all of her money. And then she decides to go find whoever stole her money. And it's absolutely hilarious and really, really charming. Furiosa, a Mad Max Saga, another film that I thought would be higher on this list when I watched it. I loved Mad Max Fury Road. I mean, who didn't? I'm sure people are going to comment now being like, I didn't. It wasn't as engaging as Mad Max Fury Road was, because Mad Max Fury Road, both times I watched it, I was locked in the whole time. But this one, yeah, sometimes I zoned out a little bit. But it is still just as high octane, just as thrilling. Excellent prequel. I think I heard they're not doing another one, but if they did, I'd watch the hell out of it. Also, Chris Hemsworth is the villain. I forgot it was him after a while. He is miraculous here. I mean, I went as Longlegs for Halloween, This should definitely be higher on the list because it rests as him. I love this movie. Everyone seems to be turning against it now, but I'm still a staunch defender. It's awesome. Nicolas Cage as a killer. I saw this film on Boxing Day, and it is one of the most surprising films of the year. Originally, I just moved it straight to my number one pick, and I gave it 5 stars. I loved it so much. But then I came to my senses and moved it around again. Better Man, the Robbie Williams film where he is a chimp. Need I say more? Yeah, I will say more. It was awesome. Probably just as much fun as, say, Rocket Man or Rocket Man. I loved Better Man. It was awesome. So much fun. I don't know how much of it was true. I heard not a lot of it was true. But him being a chimp added a lot to the movie, which I didn't expect it to add quite that much. All the musical numbers, because it is a full-on musical, Robbie Williams songs, amazing. Disappointed Candy wasn't in this. It's one of my least favorite Robbie Williams songs, but I still think it should have been in here. But yeah, The Angels, see, we're singing Angels. Tears, it's Waterworks. Amazing movie. At number 10, we have Dune Part 2. If you have seen Dune Part 2, you're probably like, what? Why isn't it any higher on the list? I don't know either. I love Dune Part 2. It was incredible. The scope, the performances, the story, the visuals, the sandworms, the acting, the music. At number 9, we have Queer. I went to see this on a whim because I was curious. I thought it was going to be another Call Me By Your Name or something like that. But no, this is a very, very surreal, strange film. It's not typical of your average queer romantic film at all. It follows none of the same beats. It is so strange and wonderful. Daniel Craig should get an Oscar nomination or win for this. I couldn't believe reading up on what really happened. It's fascinating. The third act, like when they go into the jungle, this film goes off the rails in an amazing way. Number 8, Nosferatu. I saw this the other day, literally, and I just like on the list. There it goes. It didn't come out in England until January, but it's still on my 2024 list. Nosferatu is very, very scary. It has Bill Skarsgård being unrecognizable. If you paid me money and I hadn't seen the movie to tell me who plays him, I would not have guessed it. I probably would have guessed, like, I don't know, Tilda Swinton, because she's in everything. But Nosferatu was very scary. Probably not my favorite Robert Eggers film, but it's probably his best in terms of scope and visuals and character and darkness. This film is dripping in darkness and evil in every corner. There's my review of Nosferatu. You should seek it out. As everyone is, apparently, because when I went, it was packed out. Full house. Deservedly so. Number 7, we have Smile 2, one of the most surprising films of the year. Hence why it's in my top 10. Because I didn't love the first Smile. I liked it more the second time because I saw this as a double bill. But I still don't. I think the ending was really bad in Smile. But in this one, all the horror, all the stakes are taken up to 11. And not only that, but the music. Because obviously the main character in it is a Taylor Swift-esque pop star. She's very famous, so the stakes are already higher. But all of her songs are incredible. Like, if this person existed, I would probably love her music. It's really scary, really fun, and it builds on and improves on the first one in 100,000 billion ways. Genuinely scary, excellent sequel, and I don't know how the hell they're going to do a third one. After how this one ends, I'll be there, front row. Maybe not front row, but you know, I'll be there. That's what I'm saying. Number 6, we have Wicked Part 1. Everyone's seen it. It's amazing. You know it's amazing. You don't need me, some random guy, to tell you how good Wicked is. And if you haven't seen Wicked, you probably should. I hadn't seen the stage show, but I was nervous about this because it is 2 hours and 40 minutes. When Defying Gravity started, I was like, there's no way we're already here. This is a really good film, and you will love it. If you're a fan of musicals at all, or Wicked in any way, this is such a love letter to musical theatre nerds like myself. A delightful film, and I saw it twice. It hit perfectly both times. A great Christmas watch. I watch it every Christmas now, along with part 2, whenever that's out. Although the opinions on Wicked Act 2 aren't great, so I'm curious to see how the film does it. At number 5, we have The Wild Robot, obviously. I don't even need to say anything. Wonderful film, beautiful animation, great story, a really touching message for parents and people in general. I can't recommend The Wild Robot enough. If you want to sit down and watch something that'll make you cry and charm your shoes off, you will love The Wild Robot. Or even if you're a cynical person like me, you will still love this. I'm not cynical. At number 4, getting further, Heretic, obviously. I mean, people's opinions on Heretic seem to get more divided by the day, because when this came out, everyone was loving it, and now people seem to have turned on it. It's like the Longlegs effect, which is bizarre to me because both movies are awesome. But Heretic especially was a big surprise. The way Hugh Grant and the two lead actresses play their roles, mesmerizing. The script is incredible. This would be such a good play. It really messes with your head and sets up expectations, only to completely sweep the rug out from under your feet. But it's such a contained, intimate thriller film with such a dark conversation, which is mostly just about religion and stuff. But like, it's brilliant. One of the best scripts of the year. This will definitely get a best script nomination, if nothing else. But I hope Hugh Grant gets nominated because he is so creepy here. It's brilliant. He doesn't even do anything different to what he normally does, and yet he is so creepy here. It's all about tone. It's all about the context, and he is amazing. My third favourite film of 2024 is Anora. If you haven't seen Anora, go and watch it. It is so entertaining. Very surprising. I thought this was going to be so different. It's mostly a very, very simple premise. Like when the film's actual plot, which takes up most of it, started, I was like, oh, this is what the film's about. It really surprised me. It's such a tragic film, which is apparently very normal for this director. I haven't seen his other movies, but I want to now because this is so brutal and so entertaining at the same time. It is a brilliant, brilliant film. It deserves all the awards. The lead actress is absolutely fantastic. The storyline, the romantic subplot, the romantic plot in general, all of it, everything, it's perfect. The way it talks about life as a sex worker and the way it deals with this whole like mystery that unfolds. It is probably one of the best films of the year. It's in my top 3. It's amazing. Watch it. You will love it. It's a lot more mainstream than his other films, apparently. Obviously, I haven't seen them, but you will love it. Number 2 is We Live in Time. I saw We Live in Time like 2 days ago, and I still haven't stopped thinking about it. This is one of the most romantic films I've ever seen in my entire life. It's so sad, but so beautiful, and I'm going to get choked up talking about it. I can't recommend We Live in Time enough. It is such a lovely film. Andrew Garfield and Florence Pugh. Oh, you guys. They have my heart now. I love those two forever. This is such a good film. I'd watch it again if I needed to cry. But yeah, oh my god, masterpiece. Top 2 of the year, easy. Which is why it's in my top 2 of the year. Just the way it is structured as well, because it's out of order. Genius, because it means you settle into one thing. You're like, oh, this is nice, and then it hits you in the gut with a really sad storyline. You're like, oh my god, it's like emotional whiplash. It's brilliant. We Live in Time gets 2 thumbs up. My number 1 pick of the year is very controversial in my group of friends, because I saw it with them and they thought it was like just horrible, like just disgusting. Apparently they disliked it a lot more than I thought they did, because they were like, "Why is this your number 1 of the year?" But it is The Substance, and nothing's going to change that. The Substance is a masterpiece. It's perfect. The way it talks about beauty and self-love and the way it deals with these themes is so vicious and in your face that you can't look away. The body horror aspect is so grotesque, and it's not my favorite thing, but um, I was just so engrossed the whole time and so entertained by it, especially the third act and like the middle, and just like the way the actual substance itself works and its rules, and it's so interesting. The way it talks about beauty standards and life, and the way it's shot is so nasty in such a good way. Uh, I haven't stopped thinking about it. I will never watch it again. I'll say that. But it is my favorite film of the year. It is just beautiful and horrible and sickening, but it's so powerful. And the script, it just had me completely engaged. It was so well written and like such a powerful look at all the things. I'm just rambling now. I love The Substance. It's my favorite film of the year, easily. I have not stopped loving it since I watched it. Um, no other film was as insanely well directed as this one this year. The direction of this movie is so captivating and disorienting the whole time. It never relaxes even for a second. Um, Demi Moore and Margaret Qualley's performances are just out of this world. They both deserve all the awards for this. The only unbelievable thing is that anyone ever would say to Demi Moore is not attractive or too old or anything like that, which is part of the film's opening plot. That's not very realistic. Miss Demi Moore. So this film is a masterpiece. It's absolutely flawless. It's disgusting, but I absolutely loved it. You know what? I take back what I said before. I would watch it again. I would just need someone with me because it's gross. This film is gross. If you think you're ready, you know. But yeah, masterpiece. Loved The Substance. It's favorite film of the year. Also, I made a film this year called The Lamp. Oh my god, I made a film last year. I'm still not used to it. Happy 2025, guys. Happy New Year. I hope you all had a lovely festive season. If you don't celebrate Christmas, I hope you still had a lovely season. And I'll see you in the next video where I will be talking about